Good afternoon, boils and ghouls. Ignore the lipstick I just ate. And I've been out all morning, so I didn't feel like touching it up for this. I was putting together a video and I realized I actually don't have an intro for it. So I figured, let's just film it like this and chuck it in there. Make sure there's at least some form of something. So this video is pretty heartfelt. I found some things out medically before I filmed this. I tell you what it is. I explain to you what that means and what it is. And I also will be showing you what a flare-up with my 2 reproductive diseases looks like on pretty much almost any given day. A lot of flare-ups can be caused by random things. Mine are usually food triggered or stress triggered or both, or sometimes just like literally not at all. One of my other illnesses can trigger it, and then the next thing you know, I'm spiraling out of control. Anyway, that is what I'm going over today. I'm going over a flare with you guys, and I do have photos of what I look like when I am not flared, as opposed to what I look like when I am flared, so you guys can actually get to see the difference. Without further ado, let's just get right on into it, so it's not too long. So, I said I would always be open and honest with you guys. The gnawing that you hear in the background is a mouse that we've yet to be able to catch. My surgeon called today about the results from my ultrasound. And I thought that I had had almost all the results from my ultrasound, but it turns out I was missing just one little tidbit of information. So the endometriosis, the endometrial nodes, the deep ones that we thought were inside of the lining of my uterus, were not endometrial nodes at all. Upon further review, they have discovered that I actually have adenomyosis as well. And that is part of the reason why I have been in so much pain. So, adenomyosis, the best definition of adenomyosis that I can give you, that's the easiest for me to be able to explain to you, is basically that, so the uterus has an inner lining, which is, again, usually what sheds. That inner lining basically has broken through the muscle wall of my uterus, which means all of the scarring and all of what we thought were the endometrial nodes inside of the wall, the lining of my uterus, it's endometrium, but it's not endometriosis. So it's sitting inside of the muscle of my uterine wall. It's not even inside the uterine wall. It's not even like it can be shaved away and like you can see it. Like it's inside of the muscle. And so every time that muscle contracts, those pieces of tissue, of endometrium, also contract. They also swell, and they do a lot of other things that I'm not going to go into right now. I might do a whole video just on adenomyosis itself, as it's not spoken about half as much as endometriosis, and quite honestly, endometriosis is barely spoken about, so there we go. I have 2 incurable diseases that barely anybody knows anything the fuck about. The thing that I was trying to avoid, though, because it's not a cure for endometriosis, happens to be the only cure for adenomyosis. So I've been given 2 options by my surgeon, and the number 1 option that we've gone with for the time being is to continue with the surgery as planned. So we're going to attack the endo on my ovary. Again, the ovary, the appendix that's going, all of the scar tissue around it going, all of the nodes and the nodes and the nodules that they can find, they're all being removed. All of the superficial ones that didn't come up on the ultrasound but we're sure are there somewhere, they're all going to be cut out and removed. And then we're going to go forth with trying to treat the adenomyosis. And if that doesn't work, then within the next few years, regardless of how young or old I am or how ready I am, I will have to give up my uterus. That's just the way that it's going to have to be. I'm not happy right now, as you can probably tell. I'm pretty stressed, actually. When I'd been given the initial diagnosis of like the endometriosis being inside of my uterus, I was okay and willing to accept that because it's just normal for the disease, and quite frankly, I was expecting it. It was weird to us that it seemed as though that my uterus had been left like unscathed and untouched. Well, joke's on us, because not only has it not been left unscathed or untouched at all, but it has its own disease that has nothing to do with the endo. And it's super not fun. And it's probably one of the reasons why when I did get my periods, they were so atrocious, because the two of them together is just, it's like a bloodbath. It's a painful freaking bloodbath. And that's literally what I lived for so long. And that's kind of what it's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. I'll go over just like a little bit of a basic, the basic symptoms are pretty close to being the same as the basic symptoms of endometriosis, which is why it's so difficult to distinguish between the two without somebody going in and figuring it all out. So heavy prolonged menstrual bleeding, severe menstrual cramps, abdominal pressure, and bloating. I get all of these things, but endometriosis also causes all of those things. So I get all of these things times 2. And I'm now no longer wondering why my pain has been so bad through most of my life. I'm now no longer wondering why, when it got to the point that my body just broke down and stopped working, that it hasn't been able to pick itself back up. This is another disease that's kind of like a life sentence, unless I choose to have my uterus removed. It just seems as though my luck with my health, no matter what I do for myself to make it all better, this doesn't seem to be getting any better either. But that's the news that I got today, and that's what I'm dealing with. And it's kind of obviously pretty raw and pretty open and pretty shitty. So my death toll, or my kill count now, is severe endometriosis, adenomyosis, chronic migraine syndrome, chronic fatigue, and chronic sinusitis. That's my death toll now. It climbs. Every time I go to the doctor, I feel like it climbs yet another. And I don't know. It's just something else that I have to come to terms with, which over the course of time, I know I will, because I come to terms with everything. But I just thought I would film the rawness of having just found out so that you guys can see and can understand and can grasp the mental and emotional toll that these invisible illnesses can cause a person. But that is all for now. And I will talk with you guys soon. When my head is straight again, pretty much. See you soon. Good evening, boils and ghouls. We are in the actual crypt where 99% of my life/magic happens, and that is because I'm chronically ill, as most of you know, if you've actually been following along from the beginning to now. If you don't live chronically ill or in chronic pain, what you won't understand is why my room is in such a ridiculous disarray. And for those of you who are chronically ill, you'll completely get this, because guaranteed your life, your room, or your house has been in this kind of disarray at some point in time. The thing with that is I'm alone probably about 70 to 80, sometimes 90% of the time, and I'm in severe pain about 98% of the time at this point in time. My husband works 3 jobs, 2 of them outside of the house and 1 of them now for me. And I've kind of been working on several things which I can't say much about at this point in time. And so this kind of gets left until we both have time, and that has not added up thus far. So anyway, excuse the mess behind me, and if you want to leave nasty comments, go the fuck ahead, but I don't give a shit. This is what we're really here for. This might look normal to some. This is not normal for me. My husband could probably vouch for that. He's actually using the camera right now, so sitting in the background, he can probably vouch for that. I don't normally look this round.
No, that's pretty much how I look.
This is one day of not being on proper diet, one day of being out for too long, one day of not having all of my medications. This is one day. This is a combination of endometriosis and adenomyosis together, working for the devil himself in order to make me as fucking uncomfortable as I can possibly be. I could easily go from no swelling to looking 8 to 9 months pregnant within minutes. And this literally happened between coming home and just after dinner, I'd say, is when I noticed it, which is when I noticed how uncomfortable I was becoming. So this is not normal. I will also take an actual scan photo for you guys and insert it after this clip. The other thing that I wanted to point out is this. If you take a really good look, I don't know if this lighting is good for that. Should I move it just a little bit?
It was this fine.
Oh, sorry. Better? If you take a really good look at my stomach here, it's going to look like I'm bruised in a really weird-ass pattern. I haven't been beaten. No lashings or whippings or anything stupid or ridiculous has occurred recently anyway. What? Anyway, this is strictly from constantly being in a state of inflammation and having to constantly put this, which you all know is my best friend, my heating pad, onto the inflamed area with a good amount of pressure on top of it on a regular basis. This apparently is very common amongst people who live my life / live like I do, which I did not know for a really long time. I thought this was just really messed up and I kind of kept it hidden and whatever, but there's no alien growing inside of me, which is really unfortunate because it'd be really cool if I could time it just to out right at you, but I can't do that because there's no alien. This is just how fucked up my illnesses have left me. That's only 2 of them. I have 5, just so you know. This hurts too, by the way, in case you're wondering. Put this amount of swelling into a wrist or a knee or a foot or even any other portion of your body, and people would literally be looking at you like, you should go get that checked. That looks fucked up. But This, according to 90% of doctors, is normal. I was told for 20 years this is acceptable and this is fucking normal. It's not, just so you know. It's caused by 2 separate diseases, both of which interact with each other in a really shitty manner. But I just thought this would be something good to throw in there for you guys while it happens, because it doesn't always happen and I can't stage it to happen. So this is when it happened. Tomorrow morning, when I don't look like this, I will take another photo and place it next to it so that you can see that it is still me and I'm not lying to you, because I get that a lot too, that I'm lying. Here, there. You'll know, because Zero won't look so pained tomorrow morning. But this is what this disease does to me on a very regular basis. I live this swollen. And as somebody who is 103 pounds, most 103-pound people don't look like they're this pregnant all the time. So it's just one of the many things that I deal with. I just thought I'd throw it out there because I don't think a lot of us like to talk about it. It's kind of embarrassing. It's painful. It's emotional. And quite frankly, a lot of us like to try and hide it because it sucks. So instead of doing that, I figured I'd legitimately shine an actual light on it. There's a light literally right there. I would legitimately shine a light on it so that other women who do watch this, who have my disease, don't feel so alone, and also so that people who don't have a clue what I'm talking about when I complain about these things, now you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. This is really frickin' painful. It's making me want to vomit.
I don't think I'm recording.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you.
I'm just kidding.
Ah! I can't even, like...
Are you preggers?
No!
Okay.
Don't ever fucking ask a random woman who looks like this that question either.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, I know. In case you guys think for some reason I'm faking this somehow, or I'm pushing out or whatever, this is as far as I can suck this in without actually vomiting and or dying. That's about it. And I can't even hold it for that long because I will probably vomit due to pain. So there you go.
I hold mine in all the time.
Okay, but yours isn't swelling. Yours is fat.
I love you too, honey.
I know. Welcome to married life, folks. Get used to it. So, there you go. That's part of 90% of my life. I'm going to say good night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. I'm going to film my outro because I'm pretty sure I didn't film one when I filmed the rest of what was going on. So, I love you guys. I will see you guys all next time. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully my next upload will not take as long as this one did because I had way too many health issues between the last upload and this one, and now I don't even know if it's worth it to put out my Halloween montage. Let me know down below if you want me to do that still. It's not going to be an actual vlog.